Hey, 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 MMA Weekly's The Lowdown, MMA's live call-in show. We want to hear from you, even when your wife or partner doesn't. This is Scott Peterson, and I'm with Jake Hatton, and we got some news for you today. Broke late last night. Brock Lesnar retired. DC versus Stipe 2 on the line. Former UFC heavyweight champion Brock Lesnar has apparently already fought for the last time in his mixed martial arts career. Since last July, Lesnar has been expected to resume his fighting career with a heavyweight title shot against DC. While no deal was struck to make the fight official, UFC President Dana White said repeatedly he was going to do everything possible to make it happen. Quote, Brock Lesnar told me he's done, he's retired. He told this to ESPN yesterday after speaking to Lesnar, we're going to move in another direction with Cormier. Wow. Jake, this is kind of big news. You know, Brock Lesnar, one of the biggest grossers in MMA history, and a guy with crossover appeal between two, say, entertainments. I don't want to say sport, sorry, pro wrestling fans, but entertainment genres. And, he steps in the octagon with DC last July and kind of turds on DC's moment there. And now he's saying he's not going to fight.
But did he? Did he, or did he help build the moment up and help bring more attention to DC? Brock's all about marketing. You know, we can't forget that. The WWE model is built on marketing. And when he came in the sport, and Chael Sonnen, kind of ran with that WWE model and really, moved himself up to another level. So I don't think he hurt DC's moment. I think he helped build and bring more attention to DC.
Does, this it kind of, pisses me off as a fan. You have to say Stipe's fight with DC. DC's win over Stipe was definitely the highlight of his career, the pinnacle. What put him on the map is one of the best in UFC history. And Lesnar steps in and does his WWE, bullshit, for lack of a better term, and rains on his parade. And it's like, I understand that there's, you got to promote the sport, but if you're going to do that, you got to follow up with it.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Conor's been notorious about this as of late, and Brock does the same thing. They dip their toes in the water. They tease the fans. Bring some media attention to themselves, which is a smart move.
But if you're going to do that and kind of bring that WWE flavor, which I'm not a real big fan of, you got to follow it up. And I know there may be some other extraneous circumstances, most probably the negotiations. And I understand if the negotiations went sour and it doesn't work for him, then that's one thing. But it's like, if it's not that, it's like a big disappointment. And we got the phone number up on the line, guys, 702-799-9984, 702-799-9984. Call in, give us your thoughts. What do you think of this? What do you think of Lesnar? And also, because of this, now we got Cormier versus Stipe 2, which in my opinion,
that's the fight that needs to happen.
Exactly. That is the fight that needs to happen. I think a lot of fans out there, I think that Stipe kind of got dumped on a little bit. I mean,
well, he did. Stipe, since earning the title against Verdum at UFC 198, he has beaten the following to have the most title defenses in UFC history. He's arguably the greatest heavyweight champion we've ever seen. He beat Alistair Overeem, defended his title against Junior Dos Santos, Francis Ngannou. I mean, he's the best we've ever seen at heavyweight. So it's a shame not to have number one contender fighting the champion. because that heavyweight division isn't very deep. Let's be honest.
So who do we have? Who do we have going on in that top 5 contender spot? Stipe, obviously, number 1.
Stipe, you've got Ngannou at number 2, and he's on a 2-fight win streak. His last loss was to Derek Lewis. However, keep in mind that it would be hard to make an argument for him to have a title because Stipe beat him.
Right.
You've got Junior Dos Santos, who's actually he's been fighting very well. He's on a 3-fight win streak. His last loss was to Stipe in 2017. Then you have Curtis Blades, who just took a loss not too long ago, and Derek Lewis and Volkov.
And Derek Lewis is in the top 5, and he lost his last 2 fights. Now, granted, 2 guys that are ahead of him, but still, like you say, it's not the strongest division. If you got a guy in the top 5 and he's lost his last 2 fights. In fact, correct me if I'm not wrong, or if I'm wrong, but all of those guys, except for including Stipe, have lost within the last year, except for Dos Santos.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just not. I mean, compared to the other divisions, I mean, heavyweights seems to be notoriously weak. It's hard to find those big athletic guys, and maybe that's why Dana White holds on to guys like Greg Hardy, and trying to prop them up because he knows that heavyweight division is a little suspect.
Yeah, and
compared to other divisions, I should say.
Compared to other divisions.
Lightweight to middleweight. I mean, those divisions are just stacked with talent from number 1 to number 10. Then you get into heavyweight, not so much.
We got some chat in the chat room. That's what it's for. We got Tony Stone. He says he doesn't deserve the shot. A goal. Stipe deserves the rematch. If not him, I would give the chance to the winner of Dos Santos versus Ngannou.
I have to agree with him.
Jay Bears says Lesnar was trash. And this is and we got 420. He says Brock Lesnar is pussing out because he can't pop PEDs. Now, let's talk about that.
He brings up a good point there.
When did he get into? Brock's been in the testing pool, the PED testing pool, since last year.
Yeah, I think it was in July.
When he re-entered.
When he re-entered the testing pool, and he was eligible to fight, I believe, after January 8th of this year.
That he'd be eligible to fight. Okay, and now we're into, now it's May, beginning of May, and he's been tested twice. My understanding, according to USADA, he's been tested twice this year, once in the first quarter and once in the second quarter. And that would make it his test. He was last tested in April, basically this month. Well, it's May 1st right now, but so he was tested in April. Does that have anything to do with the retirement?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, what would his motives be to come back? I mean, he's 41. He is getting older, and let's be honest, wrestling, although it's staged, it's a tremendous amount of wear and tear on your body. Those guys are on the road 300, days a year doing shows, getting slammed. It's just a lot of wear and tear on your body. He's got more money than he knows what to do with, and his last win was against Mark Hunt, so he's on a win streak at the UFC. I'm not sure what his motivating factor would be other than a massive payday with DC.
JC20 in the chat room says Brock's expecting his test to fail. And then Ricky says, I don't want to see a clean Brock. Kind of my same feelings about Juiced Vitor. I love Juiced Vitor. Anyway, did I say that? I don't know if I'm supposed to say that or not, but I just did. Man, oh man. So you guys call in 702-799-9984. We want to hear from you, even though your wife doesn't, or partner. I can't call you partner anymore, can I? Just call you my buddy.
I don't think you can.
Partner's like tied now to lover status, so it seems such a clinical term.
Who would you like to see Brock fight if he did come back? Who would be the ultimate dream fight?
I'd like to see him fight somebody like Francis Ngannou. Two big boys in there. I think that would be fun. And I'd like to see him in there with Mark Hunt. Oh yeah, we already saw that.
I was actually kind of excited. I mean, I'm a big fan of Stipe, and he's earned it. So I'm glad Stipe and DC are fighting. But if DC wasn't around, I'm sorry, if Stipe wasn't around, I would sure love to see DC and Brock go. I really would. I think we know the outcome, but I think it'd be a fun fight.
It'd still be fun. Drew Oliver says he would like to see him fight Jones, and that would be fun. John Jones or Rumble Johnson. Yeah, I'd love to see him fight Jones. That would just... But I don't think Jones is interested in fighting at heavyweight. I really don't. I think he is like, I'm going to keep cashing checks because I own this freaking division. It's like,
kind of
why
like
go up?
And Silva, they just cleaned out the division, cashing paychecks, securing his legacy. I mean, I wouldn't move if I was him. I would just keep cleaning out that division. I mean, he took almost zero damage against Anthony Smith.
Yeah, it's like why change the system? Why change the formula if the formula is working? We got Donnelly in the chat room. He is saying, is Lesnar actually retired? Good question, because he hasn't come out. He hasn't tweeted. He hasn't done nothing. He hasn't. I think
we don't have anything official.
Yeah.
From Brock.
So that's a good point. There's been nothing official from Brock yet. Sorry, I missed one of the calls. Call back. I don't know why my phone wasn't doing its thing, but yeah, he hasn't done anything. So could this possibly be a negotiation tactic of Dana White? Could the negotiations have gone wrong and Dana's kind of using his platform as the president and being on ESPN whenever he wants to put pressure on him? I would say probably not, for the fact that DC is fighting Miocic. And so I would say that because DC wanted this fight. This was the fight he wanted.
Well, this was his payday fight. This is how it's going to end, with tens of millions of dollars in his bank account.
Yeah.
Versus probably a much tougher Stipe.
Yeah, and it's like, that's the fight DC wanted, and the fact that he has accepted the fight with Stipe, I would say the fact that he accepted that fight with Stipe would be that DC believes that Lesnar is done. He's not coming back, or else I don't think DC would have taken that fight with Stipe.
Sure.
Yeah.
And also, he couldn't turn down the fight. If he just retired now, after he said he was going to do one more fight with Brock, I think it would make DC look a little bad. So a little bit of an ego play here as well. Yeah,
I would say so. Sorry guys, I missed your call. Try calling in again. I have fuddle fingers here. I don't know what buttons to push. Except for my wife. I certainly push her buttons and piss her off, but that's another story. Let's see. Jacob Houston says fighting Rumble would be a waste. He would take him down and smother him like he did Lewis. Jones at catchweight to see who's the best is a better fight. DC is ducking Jones. Yeah, I just think it's smart for. Why would DC go back to Jones at this point in his career? He can't.
This fight.
That's a puzzle. That's a puzzle he can't fix.
He cannot fix this. I mean, he's one of those records, one of those losses. He's lost twice to John Jones, convincingly. and one of those got wiped off because of John's PED testing. But I mean, we've seen the fight twice, and I think we see the third fight go exactly the same. And DC would go out on a horrible loss again, and that's his only blemish on DC's record.
Right.
1-1.
Yeah, I think DC has to go out at the top. And I think he's definitely taking a risk because this Stipe fight is not a guarantee for him. I am bringing on one of MMA Weekly's premier writers, Jeff Kane, the man from the land of the misfit toys. I can say that because I used to live in Kentucky, so it's fair. Jeff Kane, how are you doing, my buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Scott?
Doing good. So, Lesnar's retiring. Do you really think he is?
You know, it's hard to say. I'm inclined to believe that he is, although he hasn't came out and said that, or none of his representation has come out and said that. Dana said that. At 41 years old, with the way they built up this fight, if Brock was coming back, he would come back now. I feel like Dana's saying that he's retired. Something happened, apparently, to make Brock make that decision. I believe that he's retired, although just because Dana said something doesn't always make it true.
That it doesn't. Do you think the fact that you saw it reported he took he had a drug test in the month of April, do you think that has anything to do with it? Let's get some conspiracies going here, guys.
It could. I mean, it could. It's all speculation at this point. But look, the UFC, Brock was going to come back, or the UFC wouldn't have had him sit in cage side. They wouldn't have brought him in the octagon after Cormier's last win. And so, they were building up for those two to fight. Why he retired, who knows? Maybe it was an injury. Maybe it was the drug test, like you said. Let's get the conspiracies going. He is 41 years old. I don't know. It's hard to say why he's not coming back. But I think that we can assume that he was going to come back, or the UFC wouldn't have done what they did with him to promote him, his return.
Yeah, I mean, Jake, would he have gone through all the litany of drug tests since last year? He took a lot of tests in 2018. He had to have been serious about this, or he wouldn't let the man with the pee-pee cup come by.
Yeah, I think he had every intention of coming back. Brock's a competitor. I mean, people can say what they want about him, but he came in before, and he fought some of the toughest guys in that division. Win, lose, or draw, he got in there and fought him. Never turned down a fight. So I think he wanted this fight, but again, like Jeff says, who knows? He is getting older. The drug, but yeah, he wouldn't have done the drug testing and everything else.
To me, Lesnar, did he really have anything else more to prove? I mean, you can always prove more, but I felt like it would have been foolish for him to come back personally. But yeah, I can't help but go back to think about the testing pool. But hey, Jeff, do you think we got a better fight now? DC versus Stipe 2. I mean, isn't that the best fight?
Oh, 100%. Stipe deserved the rematch to begin with. He was the longest reigning heavyweight champion in history, and he loses, and then they don't give him a rematch. I think he deserved it anyway. I think it's a more compelling match. I mean, Brock, he lost the last one was overturned to a no contest. He lost his two fights before that. He hadn't fought in years. I don't know that was a compelling fight to begin with, other than a money grab. But, when Dana, I do want to just a caveat, when Dana says a fighter is retired, it sometimes has to do with just negotiation.
Looks like we lost our caller.
And we'll see what Stipe does this time. I mean, Cormier was a huge underdog in the first fight. I'm assuming that he will be in the rematch.
Sorry about the dropped audio, guys. My bad. Okay, yeah, definitely the better fight. The better fight, I would say. And we got, who do we got? The City Dat Don't Sleep 77 says he is predicting the future will be Miocic versus Dos Santos. Yeah.
I could see that fight.
Like I said,
Santos is fighting tough. He's fighting really tough and on a 3-fight win streak.
He's on the longest win streak. He hasn't lost for the longest amount of time out of any of those top 5 guys. And like I said, this is not a gimme fight for DC whatsoever. Jeff, thanks so much for jumping in with us, buddy.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay.
Dude, like I say, you know, there's the Brock Lesnar fans out there that are going to be sad about this, but I think for a lot of the MMA fans, I think it's a great fight we have to look forward to in August. I'm excited about it.
I am as well.
And so, all right, guys, well, we're going to jump off. This is how we do it, raw and dirty and quick. And we are out of here. Thanks so much, and we will see you next time on The Lowdown.